All right, let's talk about money. What if I told you that getting good with it has almost nothing to do with how smart you are and everything to do with how you act? That's the huge idea at the heart of Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money. We're not talking about complex formulas here. We're talking about the simple and often totally irrational ways our brains handle our finances.
So let's start with a big question, a real head scratcher. Why do really, really smart people make the absolute worst financial decisions? You've seen the stories, right? Doctors, lawyers, top executives who somehow end up with nothing. How does that even happen?
And this gets us right to the book's main point. We're all taught that money is a hard science, a test of your intelligence. But Housel says, nope, that's completely wrong. Financial success is actually a soft skill. It has way less to do with what you know and everything to do with how you behave. Now, to really get this, we have to talk about two massive forces that are always at play, but we almost always ignore: luck and risk. Seriously, these two things have a huge say in pretty much every financial story out there, but we rarely give them the credit or the blame they really deserve. Housel tells this perfect true story that just nails this point. On one side, you have this genius executive, Harvard-educated, top of his game, who took these huge, overconfident risks and went totally bankrupt. On the other side, you have a janitor, Ronald Read. He lived a simple life, patiently saved whatever he could, put it in solid stocks, and just waited. When he passed away, he was worth $8 million. The genius failed, and the ordinary man became a multimillionaire. It's wild. So, what's the lesson here for you and me? Well, it means we should focus on the stuff we can actually control, like our savings and our patience. It also means we should probably give ourselves a break when things go south, because risk is very real. And on the flip side, when you win big, try to stay humble. Luck probably played a much bigger part than you think. Okay, next up is a distinction that I promise you, once it clicks, it will completely change the way you think about money. We're talking about the difference between being rich and being wealthy. And trust me, they are not the same thing, not even close. This one sentence from the book is basically the key to the whole thing. Wealth is what you don't see. Think about that. Real wealth isn't the flashy car or the fancy vacation. It's the money you haven't spent. It's the assets you have working for you, quietly, in the background. Let's break that down a bit more. Being rich is visible. It's your current income on display. It's the fast car, the big house. It's loud and it wants your attention. But being wealthy, that's hidden. It's quiet. It's the financial assets that haven't been turned into stuff yet. It's the stocks and bonds and savings that actually give you freedom and options.
And this explains why we get so obsessed with looking rich. Hauser calls it the man in the car paradox. When you see someone driving a Ferrari, you don't really think, wow, that driver is so cool. What you actually think is, man, if I had that car, people would think I'm cool. We use other people's visible wealth as a benchmark for our own desires, totally missing that nobody is as impressed with your stuff as you are.
And the big takeaway here is actually incredibly empowering. Building true, lasting wealth, the kind that gives you real freedom, is less about how much money you make or if you're an investing genius. It's almost all about your savings rate. It's about the gap between your ego and your income. This brings us right to the emotional side of investing. We all want great returns, right? But the second the market gets a little shaky, we tend to run for the hills. But what if I told you there's a simple mental shift that can make all the difference?
Just think about it this way. Everything in life has a price, and the price for amazing long-term returns in the market isn't paid in dollars and cents. It's paid with your emotions. It's paid by enduring volatility, by dealing with the fear and uncertainty when everyone else is panicking.
So here's the mental trick. When the market drops, our instinct is to see it as a fine, like a penalty for doing something wrong. But you need to reframe that. A market downturn is not a fine, it's a fee. It's the price of admission you have to pay to get the reward of long-term growth. It's just like buying a ticket to get into an amusement park. And why is this so important? Because if you see volatility as a normal, expected fee, you're so much less likely to panic and sell at the worst possible time. It helps you stay invested and stick around long enough for the incredible power of compounding to really work its magic and build your wealth. So all of this leads to a pretty fundamental question. I mean, if the goal isn't a Lamborghini or a mansion, if it's not about showing off how rich you are, then what is all of this for? what is the actual point of building wealth? And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important idea of all, the true purpose of money. See, the highest form of wealth isn't a number in your bank account. It's something way more valuable. This is it. This is the ultimate goal. The real dividend that money pays isn't more stuff, it's control. It's the freedom and independence to live your life entirely on your own terms. And that, well, that's priceless. And this isn't just some nice feel-good idea. It's backed by research. Think about this for a second. Studies show that more than your salary, the size of your house, or how prestigious your job is, the single biggest predictor of a person's happiness is having a strong sense of control over their own life. It's not about being rich, it's about being in charge. So that is what we're aiming for. Having enough wealth in the background, working quietly to give you options, the ability to change careers, to handle an emergency without stress, or just to wake up one morning and decide exactly how you want to spend your day. That is the ultimate prize. So let's pull all this together into your new money mindset. 1. Your behavior matters way more than your intelligence. 2. Aim to be wealthy, which is hidden, not rich, which is seen. 3. View market volatility as the fee for success, not a fine for failure. And 4. Never ever forget that the ultimate goal is control over your time. And that leaves us with one final thought to take away from all this. Ask yourself this question and be serious about it. If money were no object and you had complete, total control over every minute of your day, what would you do? The answer to that is the true definition of wealth.